As the word Guru suggests, Gu means darkness, Ru means dispeller, dispelling darkness. The work of a guru is essentially not to bring morality to you, but to bring spirituality to you. The difference is just this: one is an imposition, another is a natural blossoming. To see that this human nature reaches its ultimate possibility.
Before we start, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Just because you believe doesn't mean that you know. When around 12 years of age, one of Jaggi's favorite sport used to be diving in a well in the backyard of his grandfather's house, which was around 7 feet diameter, a depth of around 120 feet, filled with 60 feet water. The dive had to be so precise that a small mistake would be lethal to their lives. They used to jump into it and free solo climb back, utilizing the gaps among the rock. Jaggi was unbeatable in this game. Until this man, of around 78 years, arrived. Malladihalli Raghavendra Rao. This old man saw them doing this, and goes and jumps straight into the well. All of them thought, that's it. The old man is finished. But to their aghast, he came up faster than Jaggi. He didn't like it. But he kept his pride aside and asked, how? The man said to come and do yoga with him. This was the thing which set him off to learn yoga. After few years of gymnasium, Jaggi was well built. He used to enter the ring against his yoga guru with another two. The man, who was around 80 years at this time, would pin them down within minutes. He used to give Ayurvedic consultation every Sunday from morning 4 to evening 7. One Saturday night, he was at a place 70 kilometers away from his ashram, and had to return back to carry on his Sunday duties as a doctor. He was waiting to board a train at night around 10, with two of his accomplices. But he came to know there was a train strike that day. There was no other means of transport as it was night, and he had a commitment. So, this 83-year-old man left his two accomplices at the station and ran 70 kilometers on the track to reach his ashram at 4 in the morning, ready to treat his patients. He was admitted to a hospital due to cardiac arrest at age 108. Not liking the treatment procedure, he had escaped from first floor window. At 108 years, he passed away 3 months later. Coming back, Jaggi's fearlessness and physical strength led to a lucrative job as a snake catcher. He would not use a stick, but just catch snakes with his bare hands. He has had a lifelong closeness to snakes and the snake world. For a while, as a teenager, he threw himself into revolutionary politics as he became concerned with social justice. But after a few years, he became disenchanted with the levels of hatred and hypocrisy within the political movements.
When I passed my 12th standard, at that time it was called PUC. After that I decided I will educate myself, I don't want to go to college. This is a family where everybody is educated, not going to college is like sacrilege. At least today there is a little more flexibility. Those days, it's like if you don't go to college, you're finished. Because now probably if you don't go to college, you may lose your lifestyle, but you won't lose your life. That was a generation, if you don't go to college, you lost your life, you're on the street, that's about it. So they were terrified of this. My father being a physician, he was just freaked about it. He is a very studious man, all his life, first, second, third in everything that he has done. So he couldn't believe this, that I want to educate myself. So I did one thing, and because of this, suddenly everybody thought I'm become some kind of an enemy, and they were not even talking to me properly. I did one thing. I was just to tell you, I was such a big eater. I would eat 10 times, more, at least 10 times of what I eat today. But I never was putting on weight or anything because my level of physical activity was such. I could just run up a coconut tree, I was made like that. So I was every day cycling about 50, 60 kilometers, swimming in the Kaveri and going back like this, so eating this. I decided to go to the Mysore University library. Every day when they open at 9, I went, 8 in the evening they close. That entire time I sat there, read all kinds of stuff, from Homer to popular mechanics, to National Geographic, to literature, to geography, this, that, whatever. Whatever came my way, every day for 1 year I read like this, just all kinds of things. But the most important thing for me was, though I was such a huge eater at that time, this 1 year I went without a meal. Morning I ate as much as I could, breakfast at home, and I went there and sat there the entire day without a meal, which was a huge achievement for me, because without food I could stay. This kind of expanded my way of looking at life, but family drama started, my mother started crying when the next academic year comes, go to college, go to college, go to college. Then I said, if I must go to college, I'll go for literature. My father said, what will you do reading poetry? You must become a doctor. He has seat ready for me in the medical college, everything. I said, no. Then they said, okay, at least do engineering. Then I said, see,
please do engineering.
If I say I don't want to be a doctor, if you told me become a veterinary doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, at least a witch doctor, I would look at it. If I say no doctor, you say engineer, I'm not going to listen to this. Your problem is society, your problem is not me. So I just went for literature, and these 3 years, I went there in the beginning and they all had ready-made notes, the teachers, they would read. And everybody writing down. Those days fountain pens, kara 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 kara, it makes noise, it just irritated me. I said, I don't want to listen to this kara kara noise. I gave them a suggestion, if you give that notes wherever you got it, we will photocopy it and give it back to you. We don't have to come, you don't have to come. Then if I'm there, I'll ask 100 questions. So they didn't like it, then I made a deal with all the teachers that they'll give me attendance. That was my only concern. So once a month I went to college just to check if they're keeping their part of the deal.
My life is so similar, yeah.
So I explored the geography of Mysore district in such a way, every village track, every hill that is there, every little bird nest, whatever is there, everything I paid attention, just wandering aimlessly. But today, like when I went for the Rally for Rivers board where all the top experts are there, some questions came up when I just telling them casually, they said, Sadhguru, how do you know all this? I said, what was aimless wandering? Where I paid absolute attention to everything, from a worm to an insect to anything and everything I paid attention. Now it's become formidable knowledge. I never intended to learn anything, I just paid attention because it was life. And this is all it takes. We have come here to live.
At Mysore University, despite his usual erratic attendance, managed to graduate finishing second in English literature. After graduating, rather pursuing more studies, to the disappointment of his family, he set up his own poultry farm. Starting from scratch, he worked all day to create a financially successful business. With money from his poultry farm, he also set up an even more successful construction company. When not working on his farm, he would spontaneously tour the country on his motorbike, often at furious speed and taking extreme risk. He was never keen on planning, but would travel at the drop of the hat. A popular destination for Jaggi was Chamundi Hill. In these days, he spent time with a group of friends who were attracted to a more alternative lifestyle. For a time, they considered forming an idealistic commune, but it never materialized. In the next part, there comes the most anticipated scene, his enlightenment. I am putting in a lot of effort in between my busy schedule to preserve this magnificent way of life. Kindly support me by sharing this video as much as you can and also by subscribing to my channel. Just takes a click. This takes me a long way ahead to do more. Thank you.